The design of the John Deere 244 and 324K reflects a lot of consideration for safety. But does this automatically ensure safety on the job site? There are many pieces of safety equipment on the loader, but there's no assurance that the safety equipment will get the job done unless you use it. One of the most important pieces of safety equipment is your seat belt. Buckle up before you start the engine. The rollover protective structure by itself does not assure your safety in the event of an overturn. If you're not wearing your seat belt, you could be thrown or crushed. Don't operate under the mistaken impression that if a machine overturns, you can hold on or jump free. That impression may be fatal. Before starting out, make a quick check of the operational controls. It's better to take a moment now than to find out at a critical moment when it's too late to avoid an accident. Before you dig, be sure to call the utility services in the area to have the job site marked for underground lines or structures. In most areas, there is a free or low-cost one-call locator service. It's better to take a little time before the project begins to know what you may encounter. If you cut through a gas pipeline or an electrical line, you could be losing more than a little time. As was mentioned, it's up to you to use your safety equipment. And it's also up to you to use good safety judgment. As the operator, you have the primary responsibility for the actions of the loader. Always think about what you have to do before you do it. Never stop thinking about what is the safe thing to do, not only for yourself, but for the people around you. This brings up another important point. There is only one seat and seat belt in the loader. That's for you, the operator. These machines are not designed for riders. And when working in close areas, reduce your speed. You never know what might pop out in front of you or in back of you. Even though the backup alarm is sounding, you still need to look behind you before and while backing up. Bystanders may ignore the alarm, especially in busy, noisy areas where many backup alarms are sounding. You should also reduce your travel speed when in rough terrain or when carrying a heavy load. No matter what the terrain, always carry your bucket low for better stability and visibility. This is particularly true when working on slopes. Always drive up or down the slope with the heaviest end of the loader on the uphill side. That means with a loaded bucket, you need to drive forward up a hill. Drive up vertically and avoid turning. That's when a machine is least stable. It may overturn. To prevent cave-ins near an excavation, work perpendicular to it or at a slight angle. This will keep extra weight away from the edge and limit cave-ins. Be especially careful to stay away from undercut embankments. This can be hazardous to machines and operators either above or below. When shutting down the unit, there are a few simple procedures that you should follow. The machine should be parked on a level surface with the front attachment lowered to the ground. Move the F&R switch to neutral. Engage the park brake and operate the engine at half speed without load for a couple of minutes. This will help cool down the turbocharger. Slow the engine to low idle before stopping the engine. If you're shutting down for the day, it's a good idea to install the vandal protection and lock up the machine. You never know who might drop by. It's recommended to fuel the unit at the end of the day to avoid condensation in the fuel tank. If you plan to haul the unit, you should always use caution when loading it on or off a trailer. You should always fasten your seat belt before loading or unloading in case of overturn. The trailer should be parked on firm, level ground. The bed should be clean of debris. Use chalk blocks against the truck or trailer wheels to help prevent the trailer from moving. It's recommended to load the trailer on firm level ground. In this example, we will be using a loading dock. If loading on the ground, back the machine onto the trailer. If loading on a dock, it can be loaded either way. With the help of a spotter, slowly drive onto the trailer. The center line of the machine should be over the center line of the trailer. Once in position, place the F&R switch in neutral and set the park brake. Lower the front attachment. Be sure to install the articulation locking pin. As before, lock up the unit against vandalism. Fasten each corner of the machine to the trailer with a chain or cable with an appropriate load binder. Before you haul the machine, be sure of its overhead height to the ground. It's better to know your limitations beforehand rather than learning the hard way after you hit something. As you've seen, the John Deere 244 and 324K four-wheel drive loaders are equipped with many safety features and systems, but it's up to you, the operator, to use them. You have to think about every move you make before you make it. It doesn't matter how much experience you have. It only takes one mistake to make a difference in your life and in the lives of others. Statistics show that of all the accidents reported, over 90% of the operators hurt or killed were listed as experienced. Accidents don't always happen to the other guy. That other guy could be you.